Recently, the CEO of a major Dutch bank gave an interview promoting what one commentator called a coming Neo-Feudalism, built on government-mandated digital identity and a China-style social credit score, starting, of course, with mandatory carbon allowances. The digital identity captures everything the government wants to know about you, which is a large and growing universe on the road to China. Your digital identity would then be graded, starting with your personal carbon allowance, a certain amount of carbon you're allowed to use, after which you have to buy more. So Leonardo DiCaprio can park his yacht in the Caymans, but you have to ride the bicycle to work. So the peasants get their couple hundred allowance, the bribe to get this voted into law, and the rich get to impose their own nothing and be happy utopia while keeping those private jets, 5,000 square foot mansions, and pristine vacation spots cleared of the riffraff. Here's Eva Vlardingerbroek, pronouncing Dutch names my Waterloo, on the proposal.
The digital identity is not just a passport that you will have on your iPhone in a digital form. It entails just about everything the government would like to know about you. And yesterday in the Dutch media, we saw a perfect example of what it could entail in the near future. We had the CEO of one of the largest Dutch banks say, "Why don't we start with a personal carbon credit? The rich will get richer, the poor will get poorer," and they're saying it openly as if it's not a controversial thing at all. It's neo-feudalism.
The fact this is even getting a hearing highlights how the modern left has sold its soul to the oligarchy. There was a time the left stood up for the regular guy and against the elite. In Dooley's famous quote, "Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable." Sadly, those days are long gone. The left has become institutionalized, converting to what Rothbard called the intellectual bodyguard of the regime. They still have the propaganda of fighting for the common man, but it's become the cheese in the trap, luring the victims in and then locking them into a system where they are strip-mined at the pleasure and profit of the elite. We have only to look at the cities and states where these supposed champions of the downtrodden have taken power. New York and California throws them on the street to make way for virtue signaling. Baltimore leaves their children illiterate. Detroit or Chicago murders them. If you really want the poor to suffer, elect a politician who says he fights for the poor. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained. What's next is, in theory, a gradual realization by the poor that they are being taken for a ride. A clear-eyed assessment of exactly how government destroys their communities despite taxing eye-watering sums to do it to them. And understanding that they themselves hold their destiny in their hands if only they demand it. Demand control over their schools, over their public safety, over the small businesses that used to sustain poor communities across America. Unfortunately, the institutional left is not going to tell them. The mainstream media, Hollywood, the educational system itself all conspire to hide what's happening to them, to direct their deserved anger at the partisan uniparty mock battles instead of their own governments who they elected and are now trying to crush them. As always, it will change when the water boils and the frog jumps, but given the institutional left's elite capture, that will take a lot longer and the water will get a lot hotter than it should. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.